Daniel isn't afraid of the dark. He photographs it. Every night, he breaks into abandoned houses for the perfect creepy selfie. But in one forgotten dark room, he finds an old camera with a single photo. A pale girl in a red dress staring from the shadows. When her eyes move, Daniel thinks it's a trick. Then new photos start to appear, of his street, of his apartment, of him, standing beside her. This camera doesn't just capture images, it captures you. First time Daniel broke into an abandoned house, he did it for a photograph. He was 26. By day, he worked in a small photo studio. He took passport photos, school portraits, happy family pictures in front of plastic backdrops, fake beaches, fake forests, fake smiles. The job was boring, but it paid his rent. At night, he wanted something else. He was drawn to dark, empty places, old factories, closed shops, silent streets. Most of all, he loved abandoned houses. He would climb through broken windows and slipped open doors, walk through rooms no one lived in anymore, and find the darkest corner he could. Then he would set up his tripod, stand in front of the lens and take a photo of himself. A selfie in the dark. He did this again and again. His laptop was full of folders named House 01, House 02, Darkroom 03, and so on. Every picture showed the same thing. Daniel standing in a half-lit, empty room. A stranger in a dead place. He liked those pictures. He liked how the shadows behind him felt too thick, as if something else might be hiding just outside the flash. But in all those houses, he never saw anything. No ghosts, no people. Just dust, mold, and silence, until the night that changed him. It was late October. The sky was low and gray. The air was cold and sharp. At the studio, his coworker Jamie leaned over his desk while he checked maps on his phone. "Going hunting again?" she asked. "Got a new haunted dump to shoot?" He smiled a bit. "Maybe. There's that big house at the end of Grayfield Lane," she said. "You know, the one everyone talks about? Old rich family, dead kid, weird stuff. Nobody wants to buy it. You should try that one." "What weird stuff?" he asked. She shrugged. "You know, people say they see a girl in a red dress in the windows, or in their photos if they walk near it. All that urban legend junk. I never go near it. Creeps me out." Girl in a red dress, he thought. He checked the address on his phone. Grayfield Lane was on the edge of the city, near the old rail yard. Not far. "I'll go tonight," he said. Jamie made a face. "You're sick, you know that? If you bring a ghost to work, I quit." He laughed, but the joke sat strangely in his chest. The house on Grayfield Lane was bigger than the ones he usually broke into. 3 stories tall, dead black windows, a roof that leaned as if it wanted to fall. The front gate hung open. The yard was wild with tall grass and weeds. Most of the front door was covered with rotten boards. Someone had sprayed faded graffiti on them, a hollow "Keep Out" in red paint. Daniel walked around the side and found a small basement window with cracked glass. The ground was damp. His shoes sank into soft earth as he bent down and pushed the broken glass out with his sleeve. Cold, stale air rolled out from inside the house. It smelled like rot, smoke, and something chemical, sharp and sour. He slipped through the window and dropped into darkness. Dust jumped under his feet. His flashlight cut a white line through the black. He moved room by room, slow and careful. Old furniture lay under thick sheets. Wallpaper peeled in long strips. The house felt old, but not just in years. Old in a tired, heavy way, like it remembered too much. He noticed something strange. No graffiti inside. No beer cans. No sleeping bags. No sign that other people had been here for fun. It felt like no one wanted to stay. His skin prickled, but he kept going. He had walked through many dead houses. Fear was part of the thrill. He climbed to the ground floor and found a narrow hall at the back. A door at the end was stuck. When he pushed it, the wood groaned like it was in pain. He put his shoulder against it and shoved. The door gave way with a crack. The smell hit him at once. Strong chemical stink filled his nose and throat. It burned his eyes. He knew that smell. Darkroom chemicals, developer, fixer. He stepped inside and swung his light around. A dark room. No windows. Walls painted black. A thick strip of cloth along the bottom of the door to keep light out. Old trays stained with dry, crusted marks. An enlarger on a long bench. Wires hanging from the ceiling where photos once dried. A dead red bulb swung crooked above him. The beam of his flashlight cut over everything and then stopped. In the corner stood a stool. On the stool sat a camera. It faced the door. Faced him. For a second, he thought someone was standing there, holding it, but the stool was empty. The camera stood by itself like a dark little machine eye. He walked closer. It was old and heavy, Metal and cracked black leather, no screen. No brand name he could see, only a worn patch where words had been scratched away. At the bottom was a thin slot, like on instant cameras where the picture slides out. His fingers brushed it. Something was there. He held his breath and turned the camera over. A single photo was half stuck in the slot, like it had been trapped halfway out for years, waiting. He slowly pulled it free. The picture felt warm and slightly sticky, as if it had only just finished drying. He frowned. That was not possible. The image was dark. A room with black walls like this one, but he could not tell if it was the same. The corners of the picture were just black, like night. In the center of the frame, a girl stood alone. She wore a red dress, simple, long-sleeved with a high neck. Her skin was very pale. Her long, dark hair fell straight down her back. Her hands hung by her sides. She was facing the camera. Her eyes were wrong. They were too dark. At first he thought it was just the shadows, but the more he stared, the deeper they seemed, like black holes punched into the paper, like there was endless space behind them. He felt a strange pull in his chest, as if the picture wanted to drag him forward. His tongue tasted bitter. The air around him seemed to press in. He raised the photo closer, squinting. The girl's eyes flicked. They moved. Her gaze, which a moment ago had seemed to look just past him, shifted. Now she was looking straight at him. Daniel dropped the photo. It hit the concrete with a soft pat and slid onto some dust. He stumbled back and slammed into the counter. Pain shot up his back. A tray rattled and crashed to the floor, the noise sharp and ugly. He stood there, chest heaving, sweat cold on his skin. "No," he whispered. "No, I'm tired. It's a trick. My eyes, my brain." His voice sounded too small in the dead room. He forced himself to bend down and pick up the photo. The paper left a faint dampness on his fingertips. He turned it over. The girl stood in the same place. Dressed the same, hair the same. Her eyes were fixed on him. They did not move this time. He stared for 3 slow breaths, then shoved the photo into his jacket pocket, as if he could hide it from the room. He grabbed the old camera too. It felt cold through his skin. He should have left them there. Something deep and quiet in him knew that, but he could not stand to turn his back on that camera, to leave it pointed into the dark. He folded his tripod with shaking fingers, stuffed his own modern camera into his bag, and left that room without looking back. The rest of the house felt smaller now. The halls seemed a little bent, like they leaned toward him. Every creak made him jump. Once he thought he heard a soft step behind him. When he spun, there was nothing there. He hurried out through the basement window and sucked in cold, wet night air like a drowning man. For a second, he just stared at the black blind windows of the house. They seemed to stare back. His small apartment felt warm, but it did not calm him. He locked the door, dropped his bag on the couch, and put the old camera on the kitchen table. It sat there like something alive, waiting. The picture in his pocket felt heavy like a stone. He made himself take it out. Under the yellow kitchen light, the image looked like an old instant photo. The colors were a bit faded. The girl's red dress was duller, almost the color of dried blood. The room behind her was still so dark that his eyes hurt when he tried to see into the corners. Her eyes were still wrong, still so dark, too deep. Her shadow on the floor behind her looked thick and strange, as if it were not flat, as if it were trying to stand up. His phone rang. He jumped so hard he almost dropped the photo. He grabbed his phone. "Hello? Still alive?" It was Jamie. "Yeah," he said. His voice sounded rough. "You actually went to Grayfield?" she asked. "Yeah. Anything weird?" He looked at the girl's eyes. "Just an old house," he lied. Jamie laughed. "Lame. People say there's a ghost girl in a red dress there. Shows up in pictures, so if you start seeing her in your selfies, delete that crap and burn your camera, okay?" He swallowed. "Yeah, sure." "Okay, dark photographer," she said. "Get some sleep." He hung up and set the phone down. Dark photographer, he thought. The name made him feel cold. He stared at the photo for a long time. Nothing moved. Nothing changed. By midnight, his fear dulled into a heavy, tired ache. He left the camera and picture on the table and dragged himself to bed. He fell asleep fast. He woke up in solid black, not the normal night dark. Deeper. Too deep. He could not see his hand. He could not see the red glow of his clock. He could not see the faint moon stripe on the carpet. His breath came quick and shallow. He sat up. The mattress under him felt wrong. Hard. He reached down with his feet. Cold, rough concrete. His bed was gone. The air was freezing. It stank of old chemicals, sharp, rotten. He stood, heart pounding, arms stretched out. His fingers hit a wall almost at once. The paint felt old and rough like sandpaper. He slid his hand along it, searching for a switch, a door, anything. Nothing. He turned slowly, fingers on the wall. He found a corner, then another wall. The room was small, box-shaped. A dark room, no sound. Then from behind him a soft, wet step. He froze. "Who's there?" His voice cracked. No answer. A slow drag of breath came from the darkness. Too close. He shook. Sweat turned to ice on his spine. He started again. Something cold and damp curled around his fingers. A hand. He screamed and ripped his hand back. His shoulder slammed the wall. Pain flashed bright in his skull. He struck blindly with his other hand, slapping at air. The cold hand was gone. His chest heaved. Tears stung his eyes. He spun around, trying to find anything. His fingers hit metal. A handle. He twisted. For a moment it did not move. Then it turned with a small, sticky click. He threw his weight against the door. White light exploded across his vision. He stumbled forward and hit soft carpet. He was on the floor of his own bedroom next to his bed. The lamp was on. The clock glowed. 3:13 a.m. The hallway outside. His door was normal and dim. He lay there shaking. His right hand burned. He held it up. 4 faint gray marks crossed the back of it, like thin fingers had gripped him. The skin there felt raw, like a light burn. He watched, breathing fast as the marks slowly faded. They did not disappear completely. They left behind a shadow. He did not sleep again. In the morning light, the mark on his hand looked almost like dirt, but he knew better. He scrubbed it until his skin went red. The gray lines stayed. He went to work anyway. He could not stand the thought of being alone with the camera and the picture. The studio lights were bright. Fake beach backdrops. Fake happy kids. He almost laughed at how unreal it all looked. "Jesus, you look awful," Jamie said when she saw him. "You actually did have a ghost night, huh? You sick?" "Didn't sleep," he said. "Bad dreams." She peered at his hand. "What did you do there?" He closed his fingers over the marks. "Nothing. Just hit a wall." She talked for a while, but her words floated around him. The sharp flash of the camera hurt his eyes. The smell of printer ink made his stomach twist. Every photo he printed looked wrong. Too bright, too clean. At lunch he went home. He told them he was sick. His apartment was silent. The old camera sat on the table. The photo was gone. His heart gave a hard, painful thud. He looked around. The picture was on his fridge. A small red camera magnet held it there. He rarely used that magnet. His skin crawled. He walked to the fridge slowly, as if the floor might break. The girl in the red dress stared at him from the door. Her expression had changed. Just a little. The corners of her mouth were turned up. Almost a smile. Not happy, something else. Like she knew something he did not. Her eyes still looked like deep holes. He snatched the photo off the fridge and slapped it face down on the table. His breath came quick. The room seemed to tilt. He didn't remember moving it. He didn't remember going near the fridge that morning. He told himself he had done it half asleep. Liar, something inside him whispered. He backed away and grabbed his phone. He opened the shots from last night. Before the dark room, he had taken a few quick photos of the halls. He opened the first one. A dusty hallway, cracked wallpaper, floorboards, empty. The second, a stairway leading up, broken wood, darkness at the top. On the third step sat a thin strip of red. He zoomed in. Not paint. Not random. The curved edge of a red dress. He swallowed hard. Next photo. Another hallway. A door at the end. His flash had blown out part of the wall, leaving a bright white square. In the gray just beside it, something pale. He zoomed. A bit of hair. A pale cheek. The edge of a dark eye turned away. The soft curve of a red shoulder. She had been there. In every shot, when he looked long enough, he found a piece of her. A sleeve around a corner. A reflection in cracked glass. A shadow in a doorway that should not be there. She had walked in front of him the whole time. He had not seen her. He almost threw his phone. Instead, he grabbed his jacket. He could not stay there. The next place he remembered clearly was a small old camera shop 3 streets away. He had walked past it many times. A dusty little place squeezed between a laundry and a pawn shop. Today, it felt like the only place in the world that might understand. He opened the door. A tiny bell rang. The shop smelled of dust, oil, and time. Shelves of old cameras and lenses covered the walls. The air was still. An old man with white hair and thick glasses stood behind the counter. He looked up. "Help you?" he asked. Daniel set the strange camera on the counter. I found this in an old house," he said. His voice shook. "Can you tell me what it is?" The old man stared at it. His face changed. His lips pressed tight. His hands stayed flat on the counter. "Where?" he asked quietly. "Grayfield Lane," Daniel said. "In a dark room." The man closed his eyes for a second, like he had a sudden headache. Then he opened them and looked hard at Daniel. "Have you taken any pictures with it?" he asked. "No," Daniel said fast. "There was one photo stuck in it when I found it. I didn't use it." The man let out a breath, but he did not smile. "Let me tell you what my father told me," he said. His voice had gone soft. He was a cameraman, repaired them all his life, like me. He pushed his glasses up with one finger and kept looking at the camera, as if it might jump. He saw one like this when he was young. A man brought it to his shop. Said it would not stop making pictures. Said every time he looked away, every time he checked the back, there was a new one. New sweat broke on Daniel's forehead. "Pictures of what?" he asked. "A dark room," the man said. "And a person in it." He picked up a small wooden box from under the counter, opened it, and pulled out an old curled photograph. He laid it on the counter between them. In the pale, faded image, a man stood in a black room. His eyes were too wide. His face was thin and drawn. Beside him stood a woman in a long old dress, her hand on his arm. Her dress color was lost to age, but the shape was close to what Daniel knew. Her face was blurred, strange, as if the camera did not want to show it. "The man told my father that at first the woman was alone in the pictures," the old man said. Then he started to see himself in them, at the edge, in the background, then closer, next to her. And each time she looked, more real. He swallowed. He tried to throw the camera away. The bin would be empty, and it would be back on his table. He left it on a train. When he came home, it was on his bed. He tried to burn it. The fire went out, always. My father told him to leave. Told him to never bring it back. "What happened?" Daniel asked. "Police came a week later," the old man said. The man was gone. House empty, food still on the table. Suitcase in the hall, no sign he had left no body. His fingers, old and thin, pushed the photo back into the box. "My father said cameras like this are not cameras," he whispered. "They are traps." Daniel's mouth was dry. "Traps for what?" "For people who like to look at dark things," the man said simply. "For people like you, perhaps." He pointed at the camera. "They give you a picture. You look too long. It gives you another. It shows you more. It pulls you closer. First in the photo, then in dreams, then in glass. Then one day you turn, and where your hallway should be, there is a door that was never there, and someone waiting." His gaze was hard now. "Tell me the truth. Have you seen yourself in any photo from that thing?" Daniel could not lie. "Yes," he said. "Standing next to a girl, in a red dress, and the room behind us, it looked like outside my building." The old man shut his eyes again, like he was tired of the world. "It started," he said. "What can I do?" Daniel asked. Panic burned in his chest. "How do I stop it?" "Don't take any photos with it," the man said. "Don't let it take you in more." He glanced up at Daniel's face. "And don't look at the pictures. Don't feed it with your eyes." "That's it?" Daniel whispered. "That's all?" "My father said there was a warning on the back," the old man said. "Did you see it?" Daniel flipped the camera over. In the dull metal, scratched by hand, were 4 words. "Don't look too long." He had seen them before. He had not listened. "Take it far from here," the old man said. "Bury it. Lock it in concrete. I don't know if it will help, but I don't want it in my shop." His voice shook now. "And if it brings you more photos, try not to look." Daniel stared at him. "How do you not look?" he asked softly. The old man did not answer. The street outside felt changed. The gray sky seemed lower, the light weaker. He carried the camera wrapped in his scarf. It felt heavy, like a stone, like a heart. As he reached his building, he looked up just once. In his 3rd-floor window, for a split second, he saw a white face, dark hair, black eyes, a flash of red, then it was gone. His hands shook as he opened his apartment door. Inside, everything looked the same. Couch, TV, bookshelves, messy shoes. The air was still. On the table, the photo lay where he had left it, face down. He had put it down after pulling it from the fridge. He wondered for a wild second how many times it had moved while he wasn't looking, how many places it had rested its paper back. He did not want to turn it. He did. He picked it up and flipped it over. He almost dropped it. Now, in the photo, he was standing next to the girl. He wore his black hoodie and jeans. His camera strap hung around his neck. A thick, dark stain spread over his chest in the picture, like something had soaked the fabric. It was almost black in the print, but his mind called it the color of blood. The girl's hand wrapped around his wrist. Her head tilted toward him, just a little, as if pleased. Her eyes shone more now, less dead. Behind them was his street, the cracked sidewalk, the old lamppost, the front steps of his building. At the very edge of the picture, almost cut off, a thin, dark door stood where no door should be. A strip of black cloth hung at its bottom. The darkroom door. The warning in the old man's voice came back to him. Don't look. Don't look too long. He forced his eyes away and slapped the photo down so fast it scraped his fingers. His heart raced. A strange pressure built in his chest, like something heavy sat inside his ribs. He grabbed an old shoebox, threw the photo in, taped the lid shut, and shoved the box to the very back of his bedroom closet under a pile of clothes. Then he sat on the floor and shook. That night he did not sleep, but sometime near dawn he must have drifted. He was back in the dark concrete room. No bed, no door, just cold floor under his bare feet. The smell of chemicals and rot was stronger now. His throat burned. A soft drip, 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 came from somewhere in the black. He could not tell if it was water or something thicker. He hugged himself and tried to find the wall. A small red glow flicked on above his head, a dead darkroom bulb coming back to life. Weak red light painted the room. He saw her standing in the far corner, the girl in the red dress. In the red light, her dress looked black at the folds, as if something wet clung to it. Her hair hid most of her face, but one eye shone through the strands. It was too big, too dark. You brought me home, she said. Her voice was a soft, dry rasp, like someone peeling old tape. I didn't, he said. His own voice sounded dull. I just looked, she finished for him. You looked and looked. She took a step toward him. Her bare feet left faint dark spots on the concrete, as if they were wet. You like dark rooms, she whispered. You put yourself in them, again, again. As she moved closer, he saw that the front of her dress was stained. The red was darker there, almost black, from her collar down to her knees. Something thick and sticky clung to the fabric. The smell of old blood rose. He pressed back until his shoulders hit the wall. You wanted to be in the picture, she said. Now you are. She reached up and placed her cold hand on his chest. He woke on his bed with a scream. His hoodie was soaked. For a wild second, he thought it was blood. He grabbed at his chest, gasping. It was sweat. Cold. But his skin where her hand had rested in the dream burned, hot and sharp over his sternum. He tore his shirt off and stumbled to the bathroom mirror. On his chest, right in the middle, was a dark mark in the shape of a hand. Thin fingers, palm. It looked like someone had pressed ink-wet skin to him and held it there. The mark did not wash off. The days after that blurred. He stopped going to work. Jamie called. He did not answer. The studio left messages. He ignored them. He kept all the mirrors covered with towels. He turned his TV face against the wall. He left his phone screen black. Still, he saw her. In the kettle, a pale face warped by the curve of the metal. In the window at night, a faint red shape watching from the glass, though when he ran to it, there was nothing outside but the empty street. He heard soft steps in the hall when he tried to sleep. Sometimes a fingernail tapped once, twice, 3 times on his bedroom door and then stopped. The shoebox in his closet whispered at him. Not with sound, with a thought that came and would not leave. Look, look, look. What if the picture had changed? What if, in the photo world, time was still moving even when he didn't see it? What if he was bleeding in there, alone in some dark place, while here he just hid? On the 5th day, he gave in. His hands shook so hard he barely tore the tape. He opened the box. The photo lay inside, face up, like it had been waiting for him, like it had always been that way. He stared. Now he stood behind the girl. Half his face showed over her shoulder. His eyes were huge and dark. His skin in the photo looked almost gray. The stain on his chest was bigger. It soaked down his stomach. It dripped. A slow, dark line had reached his belt. Her hand rested on his shoulder now. Her fingers dug in. He could almost see the small dents they made in his hoodie. She was smiling. For real now. Lips pulled back. Teeth showing. The room around them was his apartment. The couch behind them slumped in the weak picture light. The lamp leaned. The walls looked soft and wet. Shadows clung to the corners. They were thicker than natural. Almost a shape. Where his hallway door should be, there was only black, a door of darkness, a strip of cloth along the bottom. His head spun. He should have dropped the photo. He did not. He could not. The air in the room pressed around him. His real chest ached, right where the dark stain was in the picture. A deep, slow throb. Ba-thump, ba-thump. He felt each beat in the photo, too, like there was a second heart there, under printed paper. His vision narrowed. The girl in the photo seemed closer. Her eyes, frozen in ink, glowed. Don't look too long. He could not look away. The room around him grew darker. The sun outside the window dimmed like a light going out. Sounds from the street faded. The only sound left was his heart and a faint drip. Drip, drip, somewhere close. The dark mark on his chest burned like fire. He gasped and tore his eyes from the photo. Too late. Everything had changed. His couch was gone. His lamp, books, fridge, gone. He stood in a square concrete room. Red light glowed weakly above. The air was sour and ice cold. The mark on his chest burned like a brand. He looked down. The photo in his hand was blank, just white. He lifted his head. The girl stood 3 steps away. Real, solid. Her dress was a darker red than any color in the normal world. The front of it was stiff with old dried something. Her bare arms were white as paper. Her fingers were thin and stained. Her face was wrong in a way he could not name. Too smooth, too pale, as if made of wax. But her eyes were deep pits, black as the hole between stars. She smiled at him. Now you're here, she said. Now you can't leave me. He tried to speak. No sound came out. He pressed his back to the cold wall. It did not help. She stepped closer. He smelled her now. Wet iron, rot, the stink of old stopped hearts. She lifted her hand and pressed it to his chest. Cold shot through him. He did not just feel it on his skin. He felt it inside his ribs, around his heart. Like long fingers wrapping it, squeezing once. His knees buckled. He did not fall. Some force held him up, pinned to the wall like a photo on a board. You'll get used to it, she said softly. I did. Her smile fell. For a moment, her face twisted. He saw behind the dead calm a deep, endless loneliness. A hunger. Then it was gone. You won't be alone, she whispered. There'll be more. The dark always finds more. She turned her head. Daniel followed her gaze. On the far wall, a square of lighter gray appeared. A frame. Through it, he saw his kitchen. Dim, empty. On the table sat the old camera. The real world looked washed out now, like an old photo. Colors weak. Light thin. The front door opened. Jamie stepped inside, talking on her phone, annoyed. Yeah, he's not picking up, she was saying. I'm just going to check if he's dead or something. She laughed. Quit it. If he jumped, I'm stealing his camera. She hung up and tossed her bag on a chair. Daniel slammed his hands against the invisible glass of the frame. Jamie! He shouted. Nothing. No sound went through. In the frame, the air in his kitchen looked normal. Warm. Jamie frowned at the camera on the table. Ooh, she said, picking it up. What the hell is this, retro? She turned it in her hands. Her thumb brushed the slot. A photo slid out. Daniel watched in horror as a white square dropped into her palm and began to darken. The girl beside him giggled softly. The sound scratched down his spine. Don't, he tried to scream. Don't look. Jamie laughed and shook the picture. Come on, she murmured. Show me something cool. The image on the paper slowly appeared. Red, black, a shape. Jamie's smile faded a little. Her head tilted. What the? She lifted the photo closer to her face, eyes narrowing. Daniel's fist beat uselessly on the invisible wall. The red light above him hummed. The girl in the red dress leaned her head against his shoulder like an old friend. Don't look too long, she whispered in his ear, as Jamie stared deeper and deeper into the photograph. In the frame, the kitchen light seemed to dim. The colors began to fade. The dark inside the little square of paper in Jamie's hand grew deeper, wider, as if it were opening into something else. something waiting, something hungry. The same thing that now held Daniel fast against the cold wall, his heart beating slow under a dead, dirty hand. The dark photographer watched, trapped in his own frame, as the camera he had brought home found its next pair of eyes.